Welcome back, episode 104 of the Purple Rain podcast. Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching. And welcome back to the Sam Cook episode, the Jim Harbaugh episode, I believe, too. I think. Yeah, of the Purple Rain podcast with Sutton Def, with Simply AS10, and we are back again. Looking a little different on his end, looking a little different. We'll get into that. Getting into some had a video coming out, didn't work, ran into some difficulties.
Yeah.
But we are back, and we actually have a good amount to talk about. Have a little press conference to talk about. I cannot wait for that. Got lots of takeaways. But first, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Pretty simple. You can follow him on Instagram and on Twitter at Sutton Def, and me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod, and on Twitter at simplyas10. And my guy Sutton Def, I'm just let you can just let him know why you're looking like that. I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, first and foremost, thank you guys all for coming out to episode 104 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you guys go ahead and leave a like on the video, just first and foremost. Leave a like for the technical difficulties, because here's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I need a new computer. Sutton needs a new computer, a new Mac specifically. I've been riding mine until the wheels fall off, and that's kind of how I do with my electronics sometimes. So, I need a new computer. So my computer's been kind of messing up. Now, long story short, I am on my iPad temporarily, or it may be kind of permanent because the iPad's not too bad. I kind of like the iPad. I just need a couple accessories with it to get my mic going and stuff like that. So this will be an AirPods episode. The last AirPods episode was the Patrick Queen episode. I remember that one. That was rough.
The frustration beforehand.
I know, super frustrated. Like, can we just talk about that for a second? Like, I had bro, it was 2 minutes before we were supposed to we're about to go live.
He had a whole breakdown before. He's like, man, after this, I'm like
I was like, bro, meanwhile we have Patrick Queen sitting backstage with us, me, Alex, and Patrick just sitting there ready to go live. And my mic is not working on that day. I'm on that one day. I think that was episode 80 something, I want to say.
It was around
something
there,
like that.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Or it may have been way before. I don't know. But yeah, I was just like, wow, we're this many episodes in and now my mic wants to go bad. That's just a little funny story for you guys. But like I said, welcome back to Purple Rain Podcast, episode 104. Thank you guys so much for coming through. I see the Rain Gang is live in the chat right now. I just want to bring you guys up on screen as we normally do. My guy Mod K-Dog in the house says, yo, what's good, Rain Gang family, on this rainy Friday Eve. Yeah, kind of nasty outside. Yeah.
Oh, it's very dreary.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Jay Roshi Never Wet says, Rain Gang, Noti Gang. Okay, I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. If you don't have the notification bell turned on for us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that. Go ahead and hit that. Let's see. My guy Dre says, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, Dre, man? I appreciate Dre always coming through, always supporting, messaging on Instagram. Just always, man. We appreciate you so much.
Second that.
My guy Cam Neal in the building, J Prime 235. We got Zeke Hokage in here, Gilbert Melton. Thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode. Dylan is in the house. Team Ramey. My guy Raven C. Okay.
Yo, what's up,
Raven C coming in. What's going on, man? Yolanda in the house as well. What's up, Yolanda? Hope you're doing well. We got Sean says, let's go PRP gang. Declan in here. Black Daniels, my guy, says Rain Gang. Alex and Sutton. What's good, fellas? What's going on, Black Daniels, man? Wow, just everybody is in here tonight. We appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, it knocked over my mic. It knocked over the mic. That's how loud it was. I'm telling you. So.
My guy King is in the house. Says, "Yo, what's good? What's good, King?" Manuel's COD channel says, "Hello there. Hello, Manuel.
How's it going,
appreciate you for coming through." Yeah. And my guy Black Daniel says again, smash that like button early. Just go ahead and get it out the way. Just get that out of the way. Smash that like button. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button as well. All right. So we already got about 50 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming through. We got some things to get into, some very particular things to get into. So yesterday was a press conference featuring our GM, Ravens GM, Eric DeCosta. What they call the quote unquote liars luncheon, where they kind of throw some smoke screens here and there to make you think what they're going to do going forward in the draft, with it only being 3.5, 4 weeks away, something like that.
Yeah.
but they really might go in a different direction. For example, last year at the Liars Luncheon, Eric DeCosta said it's disrespectful, absolutely
Mm.
disrespectful what people are saying about our wide
Yep.
receiving core. And then 4 weeks later, went ahead and drafted Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota, in the first round. So that's why they call it the Liars Luncheon, because they say one thing and then they do another. So
Yep.
that's what was
Yep.
taking place yesterday, and I want to get you guys' reaction to it. Alex, I want to get yours first. What was the main thing that you took away from that press conference?
So it's funny that you brought up like the whole like our receivers from last year, because kind of the same thing again this year. Like he basically they're comfortable with our receivers. They say they are. I mean, you spent 2 first-round picks on Marquise Brown, on Rashad Bateman, and you have Duvernay, Prochet, Wallace, um, and they're comfortable with it. Now, I think that's complete BS. I really do. I mean, there's a reason why that we're asking about DK Metcalf. I mean, we're asking about him. I'm not saying that
Mm,
we're going to trade for him, but we're asking about him. So you're comfortable with them unless somebody, else is available. So I mean, that was pretty interesting. And then one more thing too was that offensive tackle is a need. I think everybody knows that. Come on now. That's been a need. It's so much of our season shouldn't be relying on one man's ankle, but it is with Ronnie Stanley. So he
yeah,
brought up Jawan James, which I kind of am still a little
yeah,
about
that kind
because
of bothered me.
yeah, it bothered me too because you're acting like you brought him in to protect Lamar when he hasn't played at all in the past 2 years, been hurt throughout his career. That kind of just like is a sounding where like, oh well, at least we signed somebody. No, no, it wasn't that. It was you're hoping he can get a couple of games out of him. So that was just two things of mine. I want to know what you think, and if we kind of meet in the middle anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing about him bringing up like Jawan James, like the biggest problem I had with that was, I mean, like you said, the fact that like that's not stability at that
No.
position. It's not stability, and it's just like for you to like sit there and act like it is kind of like insulting to us Ravens fans who just watched our quarterbacks, both Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson, get flushed out of pockets numerous times because they had no tackle help, you know.
Yeah.
So and like we said, again, we take everything that they say here at this press conference with a grain of salt because it is called the Liars Luncheon, you know.
Hmm.
So they could go out and very well draft, Trevor Penning with that 14th pick, offensive tackle right off the
Yeah.
bat. They could very well do that. It's
Yep.
possible, you know. So like I said, we'll take it with a grain of salt. But one other thing that I really took away from the press conference was the fact that Eric DeCosta really, and we talked about this before we went live, he was really preaching the fact that the Ravens were coming back with a vengeance. With
That
a
word in the title.
vengeance.
That word.
Yeah. The word in the title that you see down below. Um, a vengeance. It's that really like, I don't know. I know it lit a fire in a lot of different Ravens fans. It lit a fire in me because it's like that's what we want. We are ready. Like we are ready. We've been waiting. We've been waiting since last season, right? We've been waiting since
Yeah.
last season. Like after we went down to the Bills in the playoff game, a couple years ago, that left us hungry. That left us waiting for more.
Yep.
Hell, since we lost to the Titans the year before that. So it's like
Hmm.
we've been like scratching and clawing at the door, kicking at the door, knocking on the door for so many years. And for last season to go how it did with everybody getting injured, it felt like we didn't get a fair shake. So yeah,
Yeah.
now going into this season, especially when nobody's talking about us, everybody's overlooking us, underrating us, no one's talking about us at all. This is our time to like actually come back with a vengeance and have that
Yep.
revenge season, that true revenge season. So, like my guy Black Daniel says here, Revenge Tour 22. And Eric DeCosta,
Yeah.
he used that vengeance word a lot. And we talked
Three
about that,
times.
man.
Three times.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I remember last year going to the open practice. I know you were there too. And when I left that open practice, like Lamar Jackson, he had he had COVID. Um, Even without him there, I literally walked out. I'll never forget. I walked down like, we're gonna win the Super Bowl this year. Like when we were healthy, I'm not gonna bring up that I word. I'm so sick of that I word. But just seeing how much talent we had of guys who were cut from the team.
Yeah.
There were guys that like Benjamin Victor. I thought he looked really really good. But when we had like all of our defensive backs, our linebackers, everybody, I'm like, wow, like, this is a really good team. Now, obviously, we know what happened. I'm not gonna say the I word anymore. I'm so like I'm tired of it. Moving on this year, like kind of thing about Chuck Clark said after the Steelers game, how like watch how we bounce back. Listen, I know we're gonna bounce back, but I'm just hoping that we have just the luck of some teams, just not getting hurt. I really do. I
Right.
hope that that's still a big thing, and I think kind of going on. He was talking about those 4th-round picks. I'm gonna come into another point. How like he expects each one of them to be a starter. Okay, cool. Will your coaches allow them to be starters? Will they? I want to know. Will they allow them to be starters if they show out? Will they be allowed? Because honestly, you can draft a really good player. Doesn't mean we're gonna play him. I mean, how many guys do we have on this team that have barely played that we don't even know what they can bring? We've seen James Prochet. He's been targeted every single time and he'll catch every pass. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Justin Jefferson, one of those guys. But what I'm saying is that definitely somebody reliable. And even defensively, I know we re-signed Geno Stone. He was a 7th-round pick. He was 2nd-round talent when he came out of the college. We haven't seen him. We cut him. So just the way that they're talking about these picks that like, you hope you get day 1 starters. Well, I hope you tell your coaches, to use them, but they probably won't.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Like if Eric DeCosta, if he is going to be, stockpiling all of these picks later in the draft. So how many 4th-round picks do we have again?
4.
4 picks in the 4th round. You got to hit on those guys, or else like it's a complete waste of just draft capital. It's a complete waste.
Yep.
Like you can trade those picks for more value that will help you sooner rather than later. And I think that needs to be the philosophy that needs to be adopted by the front office, because it's just like, maybe we don't need to be one of these like, all-in teams where we're spending all this money doing all this, but hey, we always stockpile picks. We're always good on picks. We're never like short on that.
Yeah.
So it's like we can use that as leverage. And, maybe the Ravens plan on doing that come draft time, come draft day. Maybe they plan on using those picks as leverage to trade up for some more capital. But
I hope so.
It just seems like, I don't know, for right now, it seems like they're very content. They just love their picks. They just love having, they're like gamblers, like if you like to gamble, you probably love the NFL draft, right? Because like that's all the draft is. You're gambling on unknowns. That's all you're doing. And it seems like the Ravens are one of the biggest gamblers in the league when it comes to the NFL draft, because, they stockpile all these picks and then half of them end up being unknowns, and who we just never hear of again. And then the other half end up being actually pretty good for us. So I don't know. I just, yeah.
It's definitely worrying, I think, too, because I'm looking at our 2019 draft class. I mean, here was our 4th-round picks: Justice Hill, Ben Powers, Amon Marshall. Does that move you?
No.
Like, and then 5, Dalen Mack, round 6, Trace McSorley. So I mean,
yeah.
The first 2 rounds, I mean, I'll give DeCosta's first day 1 and day 2 and maybe 3. I mean, he can handle on round 1, 2, and 3. After that, sometimes you're gonna be like, I mean, I know it's not all on him. I know it's scouting too, but definitely been some misses in the later rounds.
Yeah, it definitely has. And like I said, with that being said, maybe a different philosophy needs to be taken on, and just not saying necessarily like, well, kind of saying, yeah, like F them picks, like you haven't been hitting on
pick
them.
for another pick, for a better
pick.
For
another pick, for a better pick. Like, I don't know. But like we said, and I'm going to keep throwing this disclaimer out here, maybe they actually do plan on doing these things. Maybe we actually can have some faith that these things will come to pass soon. And draft is only, a couple weeks away. So, we'll be seeing that very, very soon. Let's see. I want to see what some of you guys are saying about the EDC press conference here in the chat. Let's see. My guy Jay says Jordan Davis, Trevor Penning, Jermaine Johnson, or Derek Stingley Jr. It'll be between these 4 players picked at number 14. I think that's a pretty fair, that's pretty fair.
I unfortunately think Stingley is going to be gone after his 40-yard dash yesterday. I think he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, that bodes well, I'd say, for edge, and maybe if we want to get a lineman, because that means I'll be Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley gone before our pick at 14. So, I
Right.
mean, that's kind of good. Hopefully, Malik Willis has gone too before there. But I can definitely see us get one of those guys that'll be there. I'm leaning towards Jermaine Johnson out of those four. So,
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that. So with that being said, that means that you are prioritizing edge rusher as your number one priority in the draft. No?
not number one priority, but I think it's a safe pick, like Malo says. And petting at 14, I believe, is a reach still. I really do. I think it's still a reach. That's just me. But I definitely think should be some options. I know we talk about these picks where I think we could trade up. If there is a guy that falls, why why shouldn't you trade up? If you really like that guy, why wouldn't you trade up? Because there came a report out a couple weeks ago that Jalen Ramsey, he wanted to be a Raven. He wanted to be a Raven.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
He wanted, and but Jacksonville they were ahead of us. We got Ronnie Stanley. I'm not complaining, but
No.
just if you really want that player, you can move one up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like this question by Jay here, or this comment here, because we will get into that a little bit later, talking about like our draft priorities, kind of who we would want now. Because like we said, it updates pretty much every week, episode to
Yeah,
episode, it updates with every press conference, with every interview, every transaction that is
yeah.
made, it changes. So yeah, we're going to talk about that as well. Now, let me see what else we have here from you guys. Twisted Purple Bird in the house says,
What's
"What's
going on?
good, gang? What's going on? I appreciate you for coming through." Um, all right. C Stackhouse also in the building says, "Rain gang, what's going
What's
on?
going on?
Appreciate you for coming through to this episode. Make sure you guys go ahead and leave a like on the video if you have not already. Let's go ahead and talk about another thing that's in the thumbnail in the
Okay.
title as well. DK Metcalf
Who?
and oh yeah,
Who?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Kalen Zacharias Metcalf. Yes.
Indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has been, well, the rumor has been that the Seahawks are taking calls. He's available if somebody calls the Seahawks and offers them
Yes.
something for him,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting in itself. It kind of tells you one thing, first and foremost, that the Seahawks are rebuilding officially,
Oh yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
officially rebuilding. Like it's happening. And it's interesting as well because Lamar Jackson, the Ravens quarterback, of course, he actually tweeted the other day, kind of like campaigning to bring DK Metcalf
I
to
love
the
it.
Ravens,
I
kind of
love it.
saying like, we already got some good receivers in Baltimore, but you definitely a really good receiver too. So
I
you
love
might
it.
as well just come over here to us.
Love it.
I love
I
that.
love it.
I love that. Man, I mean, I can't sit up here and be a hypocrite, Alex. I can't sit up here and be a hypocrite because for the past month or two, I've probably said here on this show, this very podcast, that I don't think that the Ravens should go out and get a wide receiver right now at this very moment. I
Mm.
think that I have a lot of faith in Rashad Bateman, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, just talking about pass catchers. They're
Yeah, I
pass
got you. I
catchers.
got you.
But at the same time, if your star quarterback wants an X receiver like a DeCalen Zacharias Metcalf, then like
Talk. Talk.
you might have to go ahead and
Talk.
grab him. You might have to go get him. That's all I'm saying. What do you think?
I'm biased because if you watch the show, you know he's like one of my favorite players. But I'm gonna come down to earth and just take a non-biased take. Listen, who would have thought Tyreek Hill would have been available? Not me. I mean, the guys that have been
Yeah.
available, the trades we've seen, bro. Oh my goodness! And even if we were to get DK Metcalf, do you know how much pressure will be on Greg Roman? This isn't a
Ooh.
run first offense that like it usually would be anymore.
Yeah.
You're throwing that ball. You're slinging that damn rock, slinging it.
Yeah.
And just the thought of just DK, Hollywood, Bateman. I think that's how you unlock the Hollywood Oklahoma. I really do. I think you would see more big plays from him because you got to worry about a whole lot of weapons now. Like you can actually start talking about weapons,
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah.
Just and just what
Dude.
you got a game plan. Like pick your poison. You really
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. And I want to get back into what you said about Greg Roman in just a second here. We do have our very first
Okay.
super chat donation of the episode.
Thank you.
This one
Thank
coming
you.
from Twisted Purple Bird. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much
Thank
for
you.
making it
Thank you.
rain
Thank you.
here on episode 104 of the Purple Rain podcast. Twisted Purple Bird says, if we got DK, who is our 1, 2, and 3 wide receiver, including tight ends?
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh.
I mean, I would say off rip, wide receiver 1. Oh God, that's so tough. Wide receiver 1, I would still think would be Hollywood Brown, only because of
I
the chemistry that he has with Lamar Jackson.
He's saying including tight end. I go Mark Andrews. If we're talking about,
Okay,
I think I think Andrews by far. I mean, that's
fair. Yeah,
he always would try.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
I put 2 DK, 3 Hollywood. What?
Ah, man. Would it be one of those scenarios where like Lamar knows he has a big time receiver in town and like he's trying to force the ball to him?
I wouldn't say force him, but it's a receiver he's never had before.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, a receiver like DK Metcalf is nothing like Lamar Jackson has ever played with. Like,
And the sad thing is, I found this out today. Hollywood Brown had more yards than DK Metcalf last year. That kind of surprised me. Then again, the Seahawks were a little bit, they're in shambles. So were the Ravens last year. We were in shambles too. We had Huntley, we had Josh Johnson, but getting a guy like him, I don't want to get too excited. I doubt it'll happen, but I think if not players like him don't become available all the time, and if you
no, they
really,
don't.
if you, it's really, and they're saying the Seahawks are playing hardball, like you got to really blow them away. Thank you for the $9.99 donation. Yolanda is saying that let's go get DK. Could you
Yeah.
imagine what our offense would be with Brown, Bateman, Mandrews, and DK?
Mm.
I don't.
No, 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 no.
I
Thank
don't
you
want.
so much, Yolanda, first and foremost. But let me circle back to this in conjunction with this comment here by Yolanda. You brought up Greg Roman and how like basically it's either put up or shut up at that point. You know,
Oh yeah,
like
like you,
you
bro.
have
Like
to. Now, and I don't think that it would work because we know how much he is dedicated to being, a good run game coordinator. You know, like
mhm,
pass game coordination has never really been his strong suit. Not it, it wasn't back in, what was it, 2013 when he was with San Francisco. It
never
wasn't when
not with the
he was
Bills.
with the Bills, exactly. So it's never been his strong suit. So I feel like in order for us to actually thrive with an offense with so many weapons, we would need to change offensive coordinators because the run game, and I don't feel like the run game would be lacking at all if we lost Greg
No,
Roman.
no,
I don't think that because at this point, and like it has always been, the run game is baked into the Ravens culture,
it wasn't
into
thriving
their
with him last
offense.
year.
Exactly. It's already there. The Ravens have known how to run the ball since the beginning of their existence. That's what they do. It's what they do. So I feel like if you change gears to another, offensive coordinator who is more savvy with the passing game, knows how to utilize all the weapons he has, that is, I don't know. I feel like that's the only way that something like this would work, you know?
Yeah,
Otherwise, it would be too far and in between that we would see the ball getting to guys like DK Metcalf,
it
Bateman.
it's the same offense that had Willie Snead and Miles Boykin running into each other.
Maybe
It,
screens to Hollywood still. I don't
it's
know.
just like if you have an offense like that, you need to be putting up 30 points a game.
Yeah. Yeah. No excuse.
Minimum.
No excuse.
Minimum. It's insane. Insane.
Yeah, it is. Let me see. We got a guy Engraven in the house. Says,
What's
"What's
going
up,
on,
Rain
Graven?
Gang? What's going on, bro? Appreciate you for coming through, joining the stream." I was watching one of Engraven's vids earlier today, and he was talking about Geno Stone
Oh, love
and
me some Geno
how,
Stone.
yeah, how the Ravens bought him back, and how he kind of compared it. He used the analogy of like the Ravens basically paid a bill, right? They paid a bill in order for something else to work. Geno Stone is one of those pieces where it's like most Ravens fans probably it's not a sexy pick. Like he also said that as well. It's not like a sexy signing or anything like that, but like it's something that the Ravens can utilize. He has a lot of value. Um Also kind of like eating your vegetables in a way. You need
Mm-hmm.
this. You need this, right? It may not be the
Special
this
teams
the
too.
the best thing, right? Exactly. But I really like, Geno Stone coming back. I feel like he's a vital piece of, that defense. Like, believe it or not, like the depth that we have at the safety position at this point, I'm really enjoying that. DB is something that we definitely need to well, cornerback. We
Yeah.
need to shore up that a lot more for sure. And we'll talk about that as well. Let me see. Engraven actually
Ah,
leaves a super chat. Thank
thank,
you so much,
thank
man.
you, thank you.
Appreciate you. That means so much, a lot. Says got a lot of love for the both of y'all, and I appreciate what you two do. Don't ever stop. Hashtag Rain Gang. Thank you so
And
much,
right
man.
back at
Salutes to
you.
you. Yeah,
And right back
absolutely.
at you.
Absolutely, man. If you guys are not already subscribed to Engraven Videos, make sure
Simple.
you go ahead and do that. As simple as that. Simple as that.
And bringing up,
53,000 subscribers strong.
yeah, that's insane. That's actually
Insane.
insane.
Yeah.
But bringing it back to Geno Stone too, he
Yeah.
did have the last interception of Big Ben's career as well. I think that's another reason why you got to bring him back. I mean, that right there. I mean, but even like when he was given a chance, he didn't miss tackles,
Right.
played good in coverage, wrapped up, had a pick off Ben. It's really hard for him to even. I mean, with Chuck Clark and then with Marcus Williams, where do you see him playing? Hopefully, they bring him in on more packages. Who knows what Mike McDonald's going to do?
Right.
Hopefully, it's good. We'll see.
That's another thing. Mike McDonald, like that's still like a mystery in itself. Like we have a whole
Yeah, we don't
new
know.
defensive coordinator. We don't know what he's necessarily going to do, you know. And it would be foolish for us to just assume that he's going to use the same strategy that he used in Michigan in the pros.
Right.
So that's an unknown, something that we will be monitoring. Maybe he will have more press conferences, things
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, but again, thank you so much, Engraven, for your
Thank
super
you.
chat
Thank you. Thank
donation.
you.
We appreciate you to no end. The whole Ravens YouTube
Mhm.
community does absolutely.
Yes.
So yeah. Let's see. I think I had a question here from this one comes from Dawson. Says, does anybody think Jimmy Smith will come back for one more year?
I don't think he will. I really
Mm,
don't. I don't think he
yeah,
will. Barely played last year at all.
yeah. Let's see.
Sucks.
Another question. This one coming from Dre says, how do you guys feel about drafting another tight end in the later rounds?
I'm not against it. Really
Not
not.
against it.
Then again, at the same time, I did like. I'm not gonna say I was like very happy with him, but I think Josh Oliver he made catches. He didn't drop passes from what I remember.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't mind signing him for like a preseason and just seeing what he does, and then drafting a tight end too. Maybe like day 3. Never know. But
yeah. Honestly,
I
I would
they're hyping up
rather,
the tight end from Maryland too. I saw Lamar was hyping
yeah,
him up, and he was in town. Well, not in town because he went to Maryland, but he visited the Ravens.
right. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, I would love another tight end in the pass catchers room, but I would also kind of want the Ravens to draft another wide receiver, sneaky pickup, another wide receiver later in the rounds, not early or anything like that, but you need somebody who has a lot of potential. And I only say that because I mean, you see these deals that are going down for wide receivers these days. Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. They're becoming like premium paid positions, you
Yeah,
know. So with that being said, this is another one of those scenarios where you're only as good as your cheap talent. So if you
yeah.
can get these guys on cheap deals, which what our rookies are on, you'll see a lot of success. So as long as we can keep hitting, on those low key receivers in the later rounds, I think we'll be good.
I,
Uh,
I see that, but you talking about getting a receiver? We're just gonna get him. He's gonna show out in preseason, show out in training camp, and then he'll get like 3 snaps the whole year, and then not be
yeah,
used. Like Tyler Wallace last year and James Prochet the year before.
right. Let's see. We have another super chat donation. This one coming from Jabari Cruz. Ellis says,
Thank you, thank you.
"Thank you so much." Says, "What's up, guys? Just wanted to put this out there. Bateman is on the NFL top 100 next
Mm,
year. Book it. Not a bad take.
ooh,
Not a bad take. I don't, disagree with that at all. Really, I think it's totally possible. Honestly, you get Lamar Jackson some protection. That deep threat to Rashad Bateman. Hey man,
you see,
you've
they're
seen
working
you've
out
seen it.
already.
They're
They're
working out.
working
We
out.
can talk about it. We can talk about it. Like they've been working out together. Like the deep ball looks good. The chemistry looks there. As long as they keep working together and they can translate that to on the field, it's gonna be scary. It's gonna be scary. And people forget Lamar Jackson did not have a lot of time with Rashad Bateman last year. You
Only a
know,
couple of games.
only a couple of games, right? Only a couple of games. Never really got to get settled in, get any sort of chemistry. So I love, 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 cannot emphasize it enough. Love the fact that they're getting together in the offseason, just one-on-one, just them two, and making sure that they have a connection.
And when I think of those two together, I think of that Dolphins game when like Lamar was pissed off on the sideline and Bateman was just like agreeing with him. I think right there is like when like they're like when they connected, like they both agreed that like something was going wrong, and they both wanted to fix it. So hopefully we see more of it next year.
Can you imagine like Rashad Bateman just like emerging as wide receiver one, and then it's just we forget about talking about DK Metcalf coming to the Ravens. We forget about any other big name wide receiver.
Well, speaking about
I
Bateman,
know,
he changed his number to number 7 too. Single digit
number
Bateman.
7. Yeah. I mean, I like it.
I'm cool with it. Maybe DK can wear 12. Maybe 14's open. 12's open if you want it.
Yeah.
It's open.
Yeah, it is. All right, we do have another super chat donation again. This one coming from our guy Savigs. Thank you so much. Says I'm not used to Sutton with the bad mic quality. By the way, let's go Odell. Sorry about that, Savigs. I don't know if you were here in the beginning of the episode, but experiencing some technical difficulties right now. We'll have the mic back up and running soon. But yeah, let's get Odell.
I mean,
not really.
I think he won't get signed until next year midseason when he's fully healthy. Probably will go to a contender, probably the Packers. I think that's my early guess. The Packers.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think. At this point, Odell, he wants to go to one of those vacation home teams. Like he's one of those players now. Like he wants to go win those quick rings. He just did
another ring
with the Rams. Yeah. And it makes sense. The guy, he's very talented, but he does get hurt a lot. At this point, it's fair to say that Odell Beckham Jr. is injury prone. It's fair to say that. As unfortunate as it is, that's what we've seen over the past couple of seasons. So I do think that he's going to be in the market for just trying to get and help a team to a ring, that sort of thing. So I don't think he's coming to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lunch Break Hot Take says #Rain Gang. What's going on, Lunch Break Hot Take? Appreciate
Have they hit 1K yet? If not, go and subscribe to them. They deserve it.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah. Go ahead and subscribe to Lunch Break Hot Take, man. We appreciate those guys so much. Speaking of them, I know they cover UFC stuff. There's a big UFC card this weekend.
There is.
I want to get into that as well. I want to get into that in a little bit. All right. I want to kind of switch gears here to something that we talked about before we went on air, Alex.
Yes.
So there was a tweet put out earlier this week by Jamison Hensley. Hensley, and basically just talking about with the draft 3 weeks away, he was ranking the Ravens' needs right now. So I'm going to just list off, I'm going to read to you guys what his rankings are for the Ravens' needs right now. And I want to see if we agree or disagree. So let's just start with the top 3. So 1 through 3. Number 1 was pass rusher. Number 2, cornerback. Number 3, inside linebacker. So just those 3. Do you agree with that top 3, Alex? Just right off the bat.
So before we even talked about this, I said that cornerback was definitely top 3 after the press conference. The one thing I don't believe in, I believe that tackle should be top 3. I get inside linebacker, but I put tackle in there. You got to protect 8 at this point. That's the only thing I disagree with. Everything else, I can agree with it. How are you feeling?
No, I totally agree with what you just said. Offensive tackle is going to be, for me, paramount. That is, one of the biggest things that a quarterback needs in order to get the ball off. And I look at it like this, Alex. Like, football is a lot like boxing in terms of like how you succeed in the sport. It's hit and not get hit. So it's you have edge rushers to hit the other team's quarterback, and you have offensive tackles to make your quarterback not get hit. That's the whole goal, right? So pass rusher, I agree with being at number 1. Totally. You need to be able to shut down these dynamic quarterbacks and shut them down before they have an opportunity to be dynamic, basically. So pass rusher, number 1, I get it. Offensive tackle should be number 2, at least on that list, to me. Because like I said, it's a hit and not get hit league. That's really what it comes down to, just like boxing. So we need somebody to protect Lamar Jackson, keep 8 standing up and upright. And then I would say cornerback would be the 3rd priority for me. That would be the only thing I would change.
Definitely.
Yeah. So let me see what you guys are saying in here. Yolanda says, yes, offensive tackle is a must. Um, Caleb says, Ronnie is done. We need a
Oh,
tackle. MDT Sports says, offensive line is the number one need. So, yeah, I mean, we're in consensus here, guys. We need offensive line helps, even still. Morgan Moses is not like a guarantee, like surefire. Ronnie Stanley's not a guarantee either. It's not a lock. These guys are not
and
locks.
neither is Jawan James. Tell you that right now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So honestly, that could honestly arguably be the number one priority. That and then edge rusher, even still, because I
yeah. I
think
mean,
that insurance that position is important.
and speaking of edge rusher, who I saw that we have interest in?
Who's that?
Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram.
Hmm.
I, he was good for the Chiefs last year. I mean, I just it doesn't really do much for me right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, okay, cool, but is it really like going to swing the pendulum that much? I don't think it,
Exactly.
it will,
Neither do I. Neither do
especially
I.
not for the price. Exactly. So, yeah, man. Now let's think about it this way. I saw somebody put this in the chat as well. My guy Jay says our current pass rushers are Odafe Owe, Jalen Ferguson, Tyus Bowser, and Dalen Hayes.
There's two big question marks on that. I'm putting a question mark on Ferguson and Hayes. So for
Yeah,
me, we're going in with Owe and Bowser coming off of a torn Achilles.
yeah. Now
That,
Bowser coming off of a career high in sacks, 7 sacks, and is
yeah.
leading the team
Yep.
in sacks.
Yep.
And Owe with 5 in his rookie season. So those two things are definitely promising. But
Mm-hmm.
you would just like to have, like I said, again, I'm gonna say this again and again, it's a hit and not get hit league. So you want somebody who it's the reason why Aiden Hutchinson's going number one this year.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, everybody wants the next TJ Watt. Everybody wants that next big pass rusher that can wreck a game, in 1 or 2 plays. So we need to stockpile at that position, keep swinging at the fence until we hit on one of these guys. And hey, maybe Odafe Owe is that guy. He showed a lot of promise last year, even early in last season.
Yeah.
Showed a
Very
lot of
early.
promise.
Sack.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how, if one Kayvon Thibodeau falls, let's say, I mean, I see people saying top 3. They're talking about him falling now, maybe to like around 8. Would you trade
Yeah.
up?
I I would. Honestly. I would trade up. Like
That
you have to do what you need to
I'm
do to
thinking
get
about how
these
much money
guys.
that saves you. That saves you money in the future. I mean, if him and
Yeah.
Owe can hit, like just big time money for edge rushers. You can see how much to go for. Look how much TJ Watt got paid for his extension.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because it's about to be that season. No, it's about to be that season where edge rushers are that next position where they're getting paid the big, big bucks,
Mm,
Like that's
mm.
coming. Like this year's wide receiver. Next year, I can promise you there's going to be edge rushers who are re-signing for huge historic deals for that position.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's wild. It's wild.
yeah. So you're
Um,
absolutely right.
and even I kind of want to bring up another like Ojabo. I mean, he's probably what early second round. We think now with that injury, maybe. I mean, would you take a hit on him if it was right?
Oh man, that's an interesting one. It depends on what we do in the first round, I would say.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm
It,
with you there.
yeah. Like if we go and we draft a defensive player in the first round, then I don't think that we should get Ojabo with that second round pick. I don't. Um,
I can agree. I really, I feel that. I feel that in my heart. I mean,
yeah,
like, I do want to see more invested with the line as well. I want a
yeah,
lineman taken either first or second round.
yeah,
I think a tackle would 100% fulfill my needs.
yeah,
I want to be around here running around jumping, but I definitely like I feel just kind of a weight lifted off the shoulders. Not a huge weight, but a weight nonetheless.
right, exactly. Have another super chat donation. This one coming from Savies again. Said we're rooting for Sutton's twin, Aljo Sterling. Oh man, so Aljamain Sterling is my twin now, apparently.
There you go.
Thanks, Savix. Appreciate it.
Doppelganger.
My doppelganger. Aljo Sterling, I don't think he's gonna win. I'm not. even really rooting for him, honestly, especially considering how his last fight ended with Piotr Jan. Piotr Jan did hit him with an illegal knee, ended up getting disqualified, and Aljo won the belt that way. But just the way that he kind of acted afterwards, acting as if he wanted, fair and square, which he technically did, but everybody knows he didn't. He was getting his ass whooped in that fight up until that point. So I'm not really rooting for Aljo Sterling, nor do I think he's going to actually win. But hey, if he does, then shout out to him, I guess. But thank you so much, Savix, for your super chat donation. King Vino says, "Do you guys think Moses is a lock at right tackle or no?" No, I don't think he's a lock.
Yeah, I mean, unless they draft somebody, I think he is, personally. Depends, but I don't see anybody on the team who's going to take it from him. I know Tyree Phillips ain't taking right tackle from him because I know I physically can't watch that anymore.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens, unless they draft somebody and Stanley comes back, it's the only way I can see it.
Right. I think the Ravens want him to be a lock. I think they really do. But will he actually be? We'll see. We might see some rotations at some point. I don't know. Depending on how he performs, but we'll find out. I can't wait until the schedule drops, so we can see who we're going to be tested with early on in the season. That's going to be interesting.
I don't want primetime first game. I don't. Yeah. Especially not Monday night again. Please, no. God, no.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. So I think that was. I had another question in here from one of you guys, or another comment. Christopher Swain, my guy, says, "Don't take Ojabo. He's injured. He won't even be able to play for us." That's the issue with going with a guy like Ojabo at this point, because you don't get an immediate return on investment. And if you're going to draft somebody in the first 2 rounds, you want them to give you an immediate return on that investment. Day one starter, exactly. So, I mean, I can understand that philosophy, Chris, man. Like that makes sense to me. That makes sense.
And I look at 2020. Say what you want. We drafted Patrick Queen and J.K. Dobbins. First game of the season the next year. Queen, forced fumble, and a sack. J.K. Dobbins, 2 rushing touchdowns. That there is that's the type of impact you want from your round 1 and 2 players.
Exactly. Let's see. Lisa says, Sutton, Def, and Alex, what are the odds on getting offensive linemen with the 14th pick?
I mean, they're up there, but it depends if you want to reach, if somebody falls. It just, how the draft is.
Yeah.
I saw some video could get leaked, stories could get leaked. It's. I feel like somebody's saving a story just to break it on Twitter on draft night. This is gonna be a crazy draft night. I can feel it because nobody even knows. I saw somebody. I was on ESPN. They said that Blake Willis could go number 2. I'm like, what? What?
There's been a lot of hype behind that kid.
I've seen him mocked to the Panthers, which is top 10. I've seen him mocked to the Steelers. We're talking about, I think Panthers are 6 and 20. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and let me talk about the next 3 picks that Jamison Hensley had. He said offensive tackle was number 4, and defensive line was number 5, and number 6 was center. Now, I know we already agreed that offensive tackle should be bumped up to the top 3. Now, defensive line and center, I do like that. Specifically defensive line. I definitely think that we need to get younger on that front. I don't think that Michael Pierce, of course, nobody thinks that Michael Pierce is a long-term answer at this point. We're still waiting on the development of guys like Justin Madubuike, but we need more help on that interior defensive line front, because Calais Campbell will not be around forever, if not for 1 more year. So,
I do you trust his line? I see Michael Pierce, Justin Madubuike, and Broderick Washington, and I don't see that much of an interior rush whatsoever, and that scares me.
My fear is that since we aren't all that young and aren't all that talented, my fear is that against teams that like to run the ball a lot, so teams like the Browns, teams like the Titans, later in the games they might start to gash us. And we've seen that happen multiple times to the Ravens. And so that's kind of like my biggest fear. Hopefully, we have an offense that puts us in a position to where we're not in that position where we're getting bled out the clock
Yeah.
by really good running backs. So, but yeah, I think yeah, I kind of
There's
agree with those next three, but
definitely a lot of needs. Like I'm thinking just the more and more needs.
yeah, I was thinking center too. So like center, that's something where I can also agree with it because I don't think that Patrick McCarry is going to be a permanent replacement there. I just don't. Like,
Neither do I. I
yeah.
don't.
Mm,
I'm not feeling it. I'm really not feeling it.
yeah. Let's see.
Unless
Kimberly
we go under
Harmon,
center more. Unless it's under center more, I'm cool with that. But even
maybe,
then,
right. Exactly. But yeah, Kimberly says, are you guys going to grade the new rookies day after the draft, A through F, and make a video of it? So the day of the draft, we're going to be actually, live. We're going to be live the night of the draft, covering that.
there
So
you
make
go.
sure you tune in for
Second
that.
annual. Second
Yeah.
annual. By the way,
Second annual. Make sure you
and
guys tune in for that episode.
we won't be falling asleep while the Ravens pick either. It's gonna be
Right,
nice at
exactly.
14.
Jeez. Yes. Oh gosh. It's like the one good thing about us being able to pick earlier this year. But yeah, let's see. So I think now we can go ahead and take some questions from you guys before we wrap
Yes.
up for this episode. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and drop those now. My guy K Dog is, giving a hashtag to the replay game. We didn't even give a shout out to the replay gang. If you're not watching this live right now, and you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 104 of the Purple Rain podcast. We have about 73 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Make sure you guys hit that like button if you have not already, and subscribe if you are new. By the way, we hit over 2,000 subscribers as well. Thank you guys
Thank
so
you. Thank
much
you.
for
Thank you. Thank
that.
you.
We appreciate you guys to no end. Yeah, first question comes from Jay. He says, don't we need a linebacker too? Is LJ Ford coming back?
Listen, I think LJ Fort, Josh Bynes, and I actually have a new agenda. It's called the Quan Alexander agenda. I am on it. I got lots of hate from Saints fans. Yeah.
That's funny.
Listen, former LSU linebacker, played for the Bucks, on that team that went to the Super Bowl with the Niners, played with the Saints. Patrick Quinn went to LSU. LSU ex LSU at linebacker. I'm cool with it. But either one of those two, I mean, I'd be cool. It's not Bobby Wagner, but like I said, it's not very often you have a guy like Bobby Wagner available. So I definitely think that we'll resign one of them.
Yeah. I would like to have LJ Fort back. I mean, really because of just his experience. I really love like his instincts, even just watching him play, how he can be sideline to sideline, even at his age, he just
Yeah.
knows where to be at the right time. So I would like
IQ.
to see LJ Ford to come, definitely come back. He has the IQ. All right. Lisa chimes in here and says, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much, Lisa. We appreciate you.
Listen.
Like she said, yeah, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Ronald Nelson chimes in and says, great work, fellas. Thank you, Ronald. We
Thank you, Ronald.
appreciate you. Thank you so much. K-Dog with the next question. The Purple Rain Pioneer himself says, who you got, Volkanovski or the Korean Zombie, Sutton? I have to go with Volkanovski in this matchup this Saturday night at UFC. I can't remember which number it is, but
273. Gotcha.
273. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie. I got Volkanovski only because I think I mentioned this in the last episode. Korean Zombie is more of like a journeyman. He's been around for a long time. Volkanovski is the champ, tried and true. He's gone 5 rounds multiple times with really, really good fighters. I just also think he has more in the toolbox, ways to get it done against Korean Zombie. So I definitely am going with Volkanovski. Now, let me just go ahead and touch on this real quick as well, because the main fight that I'm interested in from UFC 273 is going to be Gilbert Burns versus Hamzat Chimaev. That is the fight to watch. That is the fight where I'm telling you, as I say with pretty much every UFC card, if you're not a UFC fight fan and you want to get into it, this is the fight you want to watch to get into it, because that is going to be fireworks. I'm telling you, you got a guy in Hamzat Chimaev who is 10-0, just on a complete tear. talks a whole bunch of trash. He's like Chechnyan or something like that. Has a crazy beard, a cut on his lip, just looks wild. Fights wild in the ring. His last fight, he literally like picked the guy up, walked across the octagon, and like yelled in Dana's face and whatnot, and, like threw him on the ground and like finished him. It was crazy. Another crazy stat about this guy: he literally has more wins in the UFC than he has times getting hit in the UFC, like punched.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
He's 10-0. He's only been punched twice. Only been touched twice, which is
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah. So, but he's going against the best competition he's faced so far in Gilbert Burns, who just fought the champ not too long ago and lost, but he's really good too. So that should be a great fight. I'm picking Khamzat Chimaev to win it though. Let's see. Lunch break hot take says don't sleep on Burns. Not sleeping on Burns, man. He's really, really good, but I definitely think Khamzat Chimaev is the bigger man. I think he'll be able to take him down, hold him down, probably get the finish there. Let's see. We got Don C in the house. Says, what's up, Alex and Sutton? What's going on, Don C? Let me see. Malo226 says, the best duo on a podcast at Sutton and Simply. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Malo. That means a lot. Rocky Brown says, bigger Ravens wide receiver bust, Perriman or Boykin? Ooh.
Perriman, first rounder. At the same time, I mean, I can make a case for Boykin just seeing who was drafted after him. There's a picture. It actually it hurts me. I'm gonna pull it up right now, and I'm gonna tell you the people that were drafted right after Boykin. But I still think it's Perryman. Let me just pull this up.
Yeah.
So Boykin was number 95, I believe. 93. After him, Jamel Dean at 94, Dawson Knox 96, Mike Edwards 99. Some notable guys after him: Max Crosby, that was one of them. Yeah, there was some pretty good players after him, but that's every draft. You can't get mad at that. But I'm still going Perryman.
Yeah. Let's see. Manuel's COD channel says, if we draft a wide receiver at number 14, who would it be and why?
I don't think we will. I really don't think we will.
Right. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it's nowhere near like the top of the list, the pecking order of needs, for the Ravens. So I don't see them doing it. If they were to get somebody, I would hope that they get a guy who is, probably the taller, kind of X receiver frame, that sort of guy. If they were to get someone like that, I don't know who's necessarily like the biggest guy right now in that draft class who's projected to go highest, but
I know Drake London had tons of contested catches. That's what I can think of. From USC, but he's coming off injury as well. Take it how you want.
Yeah. Like Black Daniel says here, I'd be very surprised if we went wide receiver.
So would I.
At 14. Yeah.
If we went receiver at 14, I'm like, bro, like, couldn't you trade that 14 for DK and then some? That's just how I am.
Yeah.
Because I know DK is like basically kind of a 1-year rental unless we start working our magic, getting that, signing these players with the cap. But
yeah. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I think that is going to do it for the question segment and for this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming through to episode 104.
Oh, wait, real quick, before we go. So Stephon Diggs got a contract extension. This kind of has been pissing me off. This pissed me off.
Oh no! Before we go,
yeah, Stephon Diggs had a contract extension with the Bills, and they extended Josh Allen. I'm looking at the Ravens. We don't know what's going to happen after next year. We don't know if our quarterback's going to be here. So I am very jealous of the Bills and how they run their team because they are running their team the right way. That was what I want to get into because I'm just so jealous of how they've been doing their business. That's about it.
I agree. I agree. The Bills definitely are like the model franchise right now, and it kind of really seems like it's only a matter of time until they win their Super Bowl.
I think they're gonna win one next couple of years.
Yeah, 100%. If there's any team that deserves going to a Super Bowl, I think the Bills are definitely up there for sure.
Yeah.
They've been doing their thing. Hats off to them. They've been getting the deals done that they need to get done, locking up their franchise players. Like, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But before we get out of here, we do have one last super chat donation. This one coming from Yolanda again. Thank you so much, Yolanda. We appreciate you. Says thanks for the great stream. Keep up the great work. Of course, thank you so much. All right, making it rain here in episode 104 of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you. All right. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here for this episode. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you so much for coming through. Make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe if you are new. I am your boy Sutton Def. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, just like you see down there below. This guy over here, his name is Simply AS10. You can find him on Twitter at Simply AS10 and on Instagram at Simply AS10.prod. And you can find us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, just like you see down below. With that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
And as always, oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say. As always, thank you for coming through to episode 104 of the Purple Rain podcast. We will see you next Monday.
Yeah.
You know, talking draft probably, most likely, unless something else happens. But as always, stay positive, test negative, and don't forget
never forget to call God. This has been episode 104 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're gonna catch you guys in the next one.